The college basketball opening lines preview and picks edition for January 27th on the Big 12 Experience, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, is brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, props, game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets or visit hofbets.com. Code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. We're also brought to you by Cut. Cut is a peer-to-peer social betting platform that's U.S.-based and available in 40 states. Head over to cut.com. That's KUTT.com. Promo code SGPN to get 10% off today. We're also brought to you by the SGPN merch store. 15% off everything when you use the promo code PLAYOFFS. And welcome, everybody, to the Big 12 College Experience, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Friday, January the 26th, happy hour on the Big 12 Experience. Welcome, everybody. Let's dive into Saturday, man. We got another loaded slate, round number 7 in this great Big 12 league. If you're wondering who you're listening to, I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin. And joining me on the Big 12 College Experience, you guys know him. He was born in Provo, Utah. He's got family in Ames, Iowa. He lives in Morgantown, West Virginia. Co-host of the Ryan and Rush Show. He is Rambling Rush. Rush, round 7. We are here. How the hell are you?
Doing pretty good. Kind of got at it with some Utah fans on Twitter today. I had the realization today that even though Texas is leaving the Big 12, and I guess a lot of us are happy with that, but at least Texas, they kind of are blue blood. They have history behind their football program. Utah does not have that same history, but has that same level of confidence. We'll stay there. So we'll deal with that next year. Obviously, we're in the purgatory Big 12. Excited for the games this weekend. Should be some great games.
Indeed. And third man in the box. You guys know him. He is always fighting a family civil war. He got a little vodka there. He is the green mowing, weed growing, Troy Chewning, a.k.a. the Big 12 Guru. What's up, man?
The chat already knows because I was hinting on Twitter that I was going to get a Baja Blast from Taco Bell and spike it with some vodka. So the chat already knows it's Baja Blast and Vodka Fridays, baby. Hopefully you get a little bit better this week. If you faded my picks last week, congratulations. You made a lot of money.
It was a good round to fade us. It was kind of a bullshit week, capped off by somehow Iowa State covering that 7.5 or 8 whatever number, despite being tied because Jerome Tang decided he was going to get fucking teed up, and then completely changed the whole momentum of the game. But here we are sitting in the standings through 6 rounds in the Big 12. So we're 1/3 through, looking at the standings right now in this league. Up top, I guess they have not played 6 games because they had a bye week, is the Texas Tech Red Raiders at 4-1. Then you got a clump of 4-2 teams at the Houston Cougars, the Cyclones of Iowa State, Kansas, and K-State. So you got the 2 Kansas schools. You got Iowa State and Houston all at 4-2. One team at 3-2. They also are coming off a bye, the Baylor Bears. They're at 3-2. And then you got a clump of 3-3 teams with TCU, Oklahoma, Texas, and the UCF Very Shiny Knights. And then they keep going down. Rush, all our teams are down here at 2-4. You got the Mountaineers, you got BYU, you got Cincinnati, and then Troy's Oklahoma State Cowboys at 0-6. Thoughts as we head into round 7? What do you think, man?
Well, if your teams that you like are going to be at the bottom, you might as well make some money off the other teams. So we're doing pretty well with that. Yep, they got the Dogs, and then doing pretty well record-wise. I tried to explain on our Wednesday show when I completely agreed with everyone, even Kennedy, that Kansas State should cover this game. But the way I could tell the bets going, that's why I went Iowa State. I knew something weird was going to happen. I knew it was going to go the other way. However, it seems like Saturday, things seem to correct themselves. Things seem to kind of get back on track. I think it's those midweek games where they could go anywhere. And try to figure out who wants to play. But hey, this is gonna be a great loaded slate. I'm excited. Looking, hopefully that BYU Texas line comes out at the end of this episode here. I think that's gonna be a great game. Looking forward to that one.
No doubt, no doubt. So, Troy, your thoughts as we head into a loaded Saturday here in the Big 12?
My thoughts are pretty funny here because there's a 3 games that could really be probably the best games on the slate between the Houston and K-State matchup could still be pretty good, and then the Kansas and the Texas Tech Oklahoma game. Both of those are ranked matchups. So you're thinking, which one's going to be the best game of the weekend? The answer to that, that's the DGen special, West Virginia, Oklahoma State. Who really is the worst? That's going to be the best game, I bet. Yeah. It might not be the most entertaining. It might be ugly, but I think that's going to be the competitive one.
West Virginia and Oklahoma State. We'll talk about that game here. It's going to be.
We have to.
Yeah, I really don't have a strong feel on that one. I'm hoping the chat is all over Oklahoma State and they can fuel me. No, you're not, G. You're taking fucking Oklahoma State. You're not taking West fucking Virginia. You're banned. You are the jinx to the Mountaineers. So, all right, but let's lead it off. We talked about it. A battle of 4-2 teams. Kansas State hitting the road at Houston. My initial thoughts were this seems a little high. It feels like all the Houston lines are a tad high at home. But they have been covering, like you said. They blew out Texas Tech. K-State's coming off. They're on a back-to-back road spot. That's kind of where I'm hesitating on if I want to be on the Wildcats. Looking at it, they really don't get blown out under Jerome Tang. That was the other aspect of it. But the main thing why I think I'm going to swing over to Houston and lay the number is I treat that K-State, Iowa State game on Wednesday late night as an overtime game because that was a 3-hour basketball game. That thing didn't end till about 11:45 Eastern. This is a quick turn. You played Iowa State, who's super physical. Now you got to go to Houston, who's super physical. Houston, rest advantage. They're really good at home. I think this game is similar to the one we just watched against Texas Tech where they laid it on them and they blew it open in the second half. I'm going to lay it. I'm going to lay the number with Houston here. I think they win. What was that other score? 77-54. I think it's somewhere. I think they win by 18. I think they pull away and put it on K-State, who's not the same team away from the Octagon of Doom. Troy, where are you going here?
This one seems like a smash for Houston. I mean, even at the 14.5, it seems like they should be able to win this game by that much. If it was a weekday game, I'd probably take the points with K-State just because I think Houston would smash. But this just doesn't seem like a great spot for K-State. It doesn't fit really well. I mean, they got kind of screwed with the Wednesday game. Like if that game was on Tuesday, and even if it went as long as it did, I would be a little more hesitant to lay the 14.5. But Houston's kind of, I mean, they're kind of the team that I've said is probably the cream of the crop. I would expect them to cover this at home, actually. And I don't think that really is a knack on Kansas State. I just think that Houston's that good.
So Kansas State, something that we've talked about time and time again, is they played at the level of their opponent, no matter how good, no matter how bad they are. I do understand where y'all are coming from with, they had a grinded out slugfest against Iowa State in Ames, quick turnaround, come to Houston. Houston's also been doing pretty well lately, on 3-game winning streak. However, they got a quick turnaround, got to play Big Monday at Texas, and then they're at Kansas. So while I do agree, normally this Saturday spot would be a good time to lay points for Houston. I think Houston maybe is not in look ahead mode, but also not in let's expose the whole playbook mode, and keeps this high single digits, maybe around 10-point type of game. Maybe kind of what we saw last week against UCF. They get up by a good bit, and then they're just like, all right, we got 2 huge games ahead. Let's just ride this one in. Because of that, I'm going to pick Kansas State plus 14.5. I obviously think Houston's going to win this game, but I do think it's going to, I think it's more around that 10, 12-point mark.
Just the way that Iowa State game closed scares me way too much.
I'm also fading the Jerome Tang fucking losing his mind on potentially stealing signs. I think they're fucking distracted right now. I just shut up and coach your team. So I mean, he cost him with that technical the other night. Where'd the coin go, Rush?
Kennedy's going Houston minus 14.5.
All right, so Rush is on the Wildcat.
Kennedy automatically on Houston, just on the regular basis.
Yes. Real quick before we dive into what is going to be the game of the day in the Big 12, we got to talk about Underdog Fantasy, because you can play alongside your friends all season long over on Underdog Fantasy, all season long. NFL, NBA, NHL, college basketball, college football. Simply pick higher or lower with your favorite players' fantasy stats and cash in. You can win 100 times with some spicy payouts. Troy, you got anything cooked up on Underdog for Saturday or tonight? I know this is kind of a interesting.
They already had some of the Big 12 games out for Saturday, so I just went ahead and did that. Again, I see Arthur Kaluma at that 11.5 point mark. That's a higher on a regular basis right now. He's been in the 15 to 20 point range. I think probably 4 straight, maybe 5 straight. So that one is we're just rolling with the system pick. And then I'm sure we'll get into discussing this game, but Hunter Dickinson was at 17.5 points. I'm smashing the higher on that one, and I'm into the Kansas buy low spot right now. I've kind of forced myself into that, but we're just going to keep rolling with it.
So get over there, bet Hunter Dickinson, watch along, make your picks, and maybe make a little bit of cash over on Underdog's mobile website, underdogfantasy.com. And when you use the promo code SGPN, Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. Underdog Fantasy promo code SGPN. All right, here we are. This is the game we're talking about. CBS, the Big 12 on CBS, the Kansas Jayhawks going to Hilton Coliseum. The Cyclones are laying 3.5. Interesting number here. The analytics love Iowa State here. So I think everybody thinks I'm going to take Iowa State because I love the home teams. Kansas has not played well probably since about the Oklahoma game, so it's been about 2 weeks. It's still January. They've lost back-to-back road games, or 2 out of 3 on the road at UCF, at West Virginia. Iowa State, on the other hand, like I said, with K-State, they're coming off a fucking football game that they played the other night against K-State, Wednesday late night. Kansas on the other side played on Monday. So you have a big-time rest advantage in favor of Kansas here going to Hilton. This is the Bill Self spot. This is when everybody's going to fucking tell you Iowa State's Kansas. I've already seen it on SportsCenter. As soon as they start saying this Kansas team sucks, this is when they make a statement. I think the Jayhawks are going to win a low-scoring game in the 50s, have a defensive stop, some fucked up shit's going to happen. Iowa State won't be able to make shots. Just coming off that gauntlet the other night against K-State. That's all. And they struggled off the K-State games last year because they were super physical in Farmageddon. This is the Kansas buy low spot. I think Kansas wins the game outright. And I think they make a statement saying that we're still Kansas. So I'll take Bill Self here when his back's against the wall in Ames to win outright. Give me the Jayhawks.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same street here. Everything is telling you that Iowa State's played better and they're playing at home and you got Hilton Magic and all that going on. But I've already basically bet myself into a hole with Kansas. So we're just going to keep digging that hole and eventually we'll get out of it. I think Kansas wins this game outright too. I don't think the number would fade me away at all from picking Kansas here on the road. It seems like a Bill Self special. It seems like a February is right around the corner. Eventually the talent on this Kansas team has to do something, right? Like maybe not, but I'm stuck into it, and I will be taking Kansas with the points here, and I will be laying money on the money line as well.
See, I'm going against you guys again. I think Kansas needs kind of one more, get it out of their system loss. I think Iowa State's going to win more around the 8-point margin. I think the line's at it is because most people think, oh, Kansas is a dog. You get those, mainstream bettors type, and they're just start hammering Kansas. I think Iowa State's I feel pretty confident about this, actually. I think Kansas, they play Oklahoma State next week. That'll be their tune-it-up game. And then I think they'll clobber Houston next week. And that's their Kansas, we're back type of game. But I really like Iowa State in this game. I'm gonna lay the 3.5 points. Kennedy is on Iowa State as well.
I want to say, if you think it's going to be a rock fight, the chant for Kansas is literally rock chalk. So rock fights tend to go in their favor.
All the nerds are going to love Iowa State here because you look over at KenPom, I think they're favored by 5. So maybe the mainstream guys like Kansas, but this is when Bill's had all week to get those guys ready for this game. This is they're going to get this done. Iowa State's a little overrated.
Needs to become Bill selfish again.
Yes. All right, let's go to the game of the day. Here we go. Mountaineers going to Stillwater. Oklahoma State's laying 4.5. Oklahoma State's actually played well though this last week. That's the thing that's misleading. They should have beat TCU. They should have beat who's the game before that? K-State. They had them beat. Give me the Mountaineers here because I think that was a little deflating for Oklahoma State not to get either of those games. That was a fucking gut punch that they didn't win that TCU game after being up almost 20. They led for 30 plus minutes against Kansas State. West Virginia, also the desperate team. Both teams desperate. I think West Virginia has a better roster. Give me a one possession game. Mountaineers tweak it out by 2 in a hell of a game here.
Yeah, I don't know about the 4.5. I think if Oklahoma State's going to win a league game, it's not going to be by 5 or 7 points. Even with it being West Virginia, but the system says West Virginia is on the road, so I am going to lay the 4.5 anyways. But I do think the smarter bet would just be taking the money line. I don't really care what the value is here. Oklahoma State's liable to be up by 8 or down by 8 and still make it a one possession game somehow in either direction. So feel kind of risky laying the points, but West Virginia on the road, I'll wait to give my money back to the Mountaineers when they're playing at home.
When you kind of have the two bottom teams in the Big 12 playing each other, either side's wrong. It just feels like I'm not saying West Virginia's going to win this game, but I don't think Oklahoma State's going to win by 5 points or more. I mean, they haven't won a Big 12 game yet. I mean, historically, West Virginia hasn't done well in Stillwater, so that's why, I mean, not confident in West Virginia winning this game necessarily, but I will take the points with West Virginia at 4.5. We'll see if Jesse Edwards comes back or not. I wouldn't be surprised if they save him for the home game next week. Maybe he has glimpses. I'm sure Josh is using it as kind of coaching tactics right now and is more of a chess move and that sort of thing. So, I mean, when you have the two bottom teams of the Big 12 going at it, you would think maybe at least it's a one possession game with a couple fouls at the end. But I think Oklahoma State winning by 5 points or more I can't see it happening, but
this also
West Virginia and Stillwater.
This also screams the Raekwon battle over points smash after getting tossed and only scoring 4. It seems like 2 or 3 games in a row after his low output is followed up by some pretty big 3-point performances.
Yeah. And Rush, we actually won 6 in a row in Stillwater, but we've gotten beat down the last couple of years.
Yeah.
It's been a weird thing where Oklahoma State's been good in Morgantown. We were good in Stillwater till recently, and then we've been good in Morgantown. It's always a split between these two.
Yeah, I remember when it is a split, and maybe I'm getting some football games in there too, because it always seems like our football team never does well against them. I remember when they prevented Hugs getting his 900 win here, right? And then we lost to them in the Big 12 tournament first game. That was Cade Cunningham's year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it should be a fight on some level. It just always feels like we struggle against them.
Chad G, I told you, you're on Oklahoma State. You're not allowed to take the Mountaineers.
Yeah, please, Chad, don't.
Mountaineers have been good on Saturdays.
Join me, Chad.
That's
except Houston.
Join me on the Cowboys.
Yes, Houston was the only one that we weren't, but we beat Drexel, who's undefeated in CAA, beat Toledo, who's at the top of the MAC, and then should have beat Ohio State. So Saturday's been good to the Mountaineers outside of that Houston massacre. Who did you say Kennedy was on?
I didn't, but he's on Oklahoma State.
All right, so we got a 50-50 split. All right, let's move along here. Next up, this is going to be an interesting one because Texas Tech 4-1. They had a week off. They're feeling themselves. They go to Oklahoma. Oklahoma back-to-back home spot. Oklahoma dropped a home game to Texas here. I think this is a simple handicap. I don't see Oklahoma losing back-to-back home games. I think Texas Tech a little overvalued right now. I'm all over Oklahoma here. Pretty convincingly. I think they win by double digits. I think they pull away late. I've been impressed with Oklahoma this year. I know they dropped that game against Texas, but that was a rivalry game. They always struggle with Texas at the Lloyd Noble Center for some reason. I think their athletes, they get out in transition, make some shots, and I'll take Boomer Sooner here over the Red Raiders. Troy, your Sooners?
Yeah, after the Texas game, I was a little concerned with the lack of energy that Oklahoma came to play with in a home spot. I'm kind of going the same angle where I hope that was just the issues that Porter Moser has had not being able to beat Texas. I don't think they lose 2 straight home games. I think Tech is a pretty good team. I could see the 3.5 or the 4, depending on where you get it at. I could see the 4 being a push, honestly. So get that 3.5 if you're going to lay Oklahoma, which I will be doing. But I do think that's your margin of victory right there, is that 4 number. And if you see it at 4, maybe buy the 0.5 point and get it at 3.5 if it does go up on its own. But again, this is another team that I don't really see Oklahoma beating Texas Tech by, 8 to 10 points. I think maybe that 6 or 7 would be the high end of their victory.
I think Oklahoma's going to win this game by double digits. Texas Tech, I know they had their bye week, and we talk about rest, but, the rest versus rust debate, I think they're going to come out slow in this game. No way Oklahoma's losing 2 home games in a row. You can't in the Big 12. Yeah. I think this is an easy line. We'll see what Texas Tech does next week, but, coming back against BYU in the second half, it's actually too bad Texas Tech, for their sake, didn't play a week game this week, because usually you come back in a second half like that, you can carry that momentum into the next game. But it's a week from now, so you don't have any of that momentum to carry forward. Oklahoma's not going to get embarrassed again. Oklahoma minus 3.5.
Kennedy?
Yep, same. Oklahoma.
All righty. Boomer Sooner.
Yeah, this one's rigged for Oklahoma.
Oh, Mason's back. What's up, Mason?
Mason's back.
Yeah.
Mason's back talking rig games here. So real quick, let's talk about some rig games over at Cut. If you want to bet on some rig games, go head-to-head with each other. Cut is a peer-to-peer social betting platform that's U.S.-based and legal in 40 states. Head over to cut.com. That's KUTT.com with the promo code SGPN for a 10% deposit today. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, a sports betting analytics platform for parlays, props, and game lines. Research all NFL, NBA, and soccer with historical data. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to graft a more intelligent, data-driven parlay. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. Start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. And we're brought to you by the SGPN merch store. 15% off everything in the store now until the end of the month. Promo code PLAYOFFS. We're competing against all their shows. So go over there and throw the college experience a bone, baby, and subscribe and get some merch so that we can win this fucking contest. All righty, we're back. You've read that ad with Cut and Hall of Fame enough where the browser can go down and you still can recite exactly the words. So shout out to Hall of Fame Bets. For some reason my Google Doc with all these ad reads fucking went out. So I think I did all right. So
hey Ryan, I love Mason right here. I love you guys, but lost big money using the picks. I love the people that say they've lost money using our picks, but then never tell us which picks they've lost money on.
Yeah, that's why you take them all, baby. It's percentages.
Yeah, diversify your bond. Diversify your bonds.
All you have to do is hit,
as the great RZA and Jizza once said.
50. It's mathematically impossible to lose money if you hit 53% of your bets, unless of course you're betting like minus fucking 120s. But if you're betting minus 110s, if you hit 53%, then you're making money. That's the goal. I mean, the goal is 55 to 60. 60 would be great. 60, you're fucking raking it in. If I hit 100%, let me tell you something. I wouldn't be doing this fucking show. You guys wouldn't fucking see me for a while.
You wouldn't advertise your picks. You would disappear.
No.
You wouldn't want people to know.
You would charge money for them.
Peace. I'm out of here. All right, let's go over to another smash spot, in my opinion. TCU's coming off the emotional win in Stillwater. They fucking got so lucky in that game. Stole it right from Oklahoma State. Baylor's laying 5.5. Baylor has lost back-to-back. Baylor has a week off. They have the rest advantage. Scott Drew, like my whole thing with Bill Self, got after them all week. Get back to defending. This is a smash spot for Baylor. Baylor's going to win this thing by double digits. TCU, not the same team away from Fort Worth. They won in Waco last year. They're not going to win back-to-back. Give me Baylor all day to get things right with Scott Drew and the boys.
Yeah, I don't trust Emmanuel Miller to go out and have 21-11 again against Baylor. But if he does, I could see TCU winning the game. Besides that, there's way too much juice at Foster Pavilion. Still undefeated at home. I don't know if TCU is going to be the first one to go in and give them a loss. I really don't think so. The handicap on TCU is obviously they're significantly better at home, but that's also kind of Baylor's handicap throughout this year. So I'm going to go ahead and lay the 5.5. I don't know if I'm thinking about alt lines on this one personally. I think the 5.5 is pretty close. If they were to win by 12, I'd be surprised, but anything from that 10-6 number seems about right.
Going contrarian again, I'm going TCU plus 5.5. I definitely get with what you all are saying here, but I think this is a game. I really do. I think it's close. I think it's – how far is Fort Worth from Baylor, Troy?
It's an hour, I believe.
Yeah,
it's pretty close, isn't it?
We've double tripped there before. Maybe it's a little bit over an hour. It goes Austin, Waco, Fort Worth. They're all within a 2-hour radius.
Yeah, so you'll probably get some TCU fans there as well. I just think kind of similar. I'm kind of going on I guess we're seeing from Texas Tech and Baylor how these teams are going to come out of the bye week, but maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't. I'm kind of going to be in the category of you took a little too much time off. I think Baylor's going to start slow, come alive in the second half, and win by 5 points or less. So I'm going to go TCU.
Yeah, I wouldn't be that surprised. I wouldn't be that surprised if TCU covered here. I'm not quite as, feeling as if this is a Baylor smash spot, but it does seem like a good spot for them to get TCU. And to be honest, the home environment isn't the handicap. It's the stupid rubber court. That's like not playing on that court.
Yeah.
Means we can play real basketball.
Well, I tell you what, man, I do like the new Baylor home court, man. They actually have a home court atmosphere now.
Hate the camera angle.
Definitely.
Oh, it's fucking atrocious.
Feel like I'm watching a Big Ten football game.
It feels like, how like Cameron and Door, they're fucking way up there. This thing's even higher. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I can't even see this shit. It brings me back to my video coordinator days when we would play like a fucking SWAC or MEAC school, and it would be like the automated camera that they pay for, and it would sense the movement. And it was so zoomed out because the one guy was so lazy, he wouldn't run back on defense. So it would just zoom out on the whole court because you had to have all 10 guys. So, yeah, that's some fucking shit. I'm like, God damn. I mean, come on, man. Come on, Baylor. You couldn't do better than this. This isn't the fucking SWAC and MEAC. Come on. So, yeah. Would you say Kennedy was doing Rush?
Kennedy's on Baylor.
He never takes TCU.
Dude, I'm on a couple island picks, man.
Yeah. You are.
Yeah, 3 islands.
It could be good. It could be bad. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes maybe shit. Yeah. Next up, this game features 2 newcomers. The Shiny Knights coming off a big win, going to the Natty. Natty's laying 6.5 here. The Cincinnati Bearcats are coming off the fog, where I actually was super impressed with them. Coming back home here. Here's my only concern with taking Cincinnati. I felt like they played out of their mind at the fog to cover that game and and I got to look back at what these two did last year, because obviously they played in the American. Wes Miller in year number 3, so they swept UCF, but they won by 9. They won by 2 down there in Orlando at the Bounce House. The other angle too, UCF's off the big win against West Virginia. They needed that game.
Huge win, big win against West Virginia.
Well, they needed it. I mean, that place was fucking popping. Cincinnati's off back-to-back losses, though. They've lost 4 out of 5. It kind of feels like a smash spot. I'll take the Bearcats. I'll take the Bearcats. I could see UCF may fuck around and try and backdoor this thing. But give me the Bearcats.
Yeah, UCF is kind of becoming almost a system play in terms of they keep it closer. Well, they keep it closer than everybody expects, and they do play pretty well at the end of games. Everything tells me that this is a Cincy smash spot, so I will be taking the points with UCF. I got a Costanza myself here.
I get it.
I know it's on the road, but I just think UCF is playing better ball, and they're not really getting credit for the ball that they're playing right now. And that 6.5 number is too big.
I guess this is an old American matchup. Teams that have history playing together. For me, this is just a don't overthink it game. Cincinnati's off, 2 straight losses. UCF is away from the bounce house. I'm laying the points here with Cincinnati minus 6.5. This is just keep it simple. Kennedy is on Cincinnati as well.
Bearcats.
Yeah. Cincinnati 2-4 against the spread against UCF, even though they've gone 5-1 straight up.
I know. Yeah. UCF has covered 5 in a row. So yeah, that actually makes me like Cincy more. They're due for an egg.
There you go.
That's my logic. Come on, the Bearcats, baby. Let's go Bearcats up there. Skyline Chili. Do we have a number? Anybody out there on the Cougs
yet? This yet?
Why?
Yeah. Does anybody in chat have a Texas BYU number? Because you know this is a smash.
I can tell you right now. I'm going to be on the Super Soaker. They're not going to lose back-to-back home games. I think the Mormons put it on the Longhorns here. Longhorns coming in hot. Won the Red River Shootout, the final one in Norman, Big 12 version, coming into the Super Soaker. I think BYU wins by double digits. I think this is the game where BYU, they didn't make their threes the other night. I think they make them against Texas. I think that they make like 15-plus threes. And I could see a route here, kind of like Iowa State did out there in Provo. Give me all day, baby.
Yeah, the reason why they haven't dropped the line is because they know we've got 51 people watching the show, and all 51 were going to go smash BYU as soon as the line dropped. Yeah, if the Ken Palm number at that 7.5 or 8, if it comes out anything under there, I'm talking 6.5 or lower, you got to hammer that one. I do think BYU shoots the ball better here. I do think Texas kind of regresses a little bit after some big wins. And the Mormons, I mean, that Mormon money, that's the reason why they're not posting the line. The Mormon money is about to just hammer the Cougars.
Can't gamble in Utah. Illegal.
Yeah, just drive to the border. No big deal.
Tell
your 3 wives to drive you to the border and start throwing some money on the Mormons.
Yeah, I love BYU here.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. BYU. It's a great spot to get up. You have to win this game. I mean, have they lost their last 2?
No, they beat Iowa State. So
that's right. They beat Iowa State.
Home.
2 out of 3. And that's the thing. Yeah, they just lost to Houston, so you can't lose back-to-back home games. I'm all over BYU as well.
Did you look at the Texas look ahead too? They got Houston on.
They played Houston. Yeah, I brought it up. Yeah, that's what I was saying with Houston. Yeah, this is. I agree. BYU smash spot here.
Juke 72. That might be Keishon Butte's burner account.
VPNs do work for that.
Keishon Butte, all he had to do is use a VPN. He would have been fine, but instead, fucked.
Would Kennedy do?
BYU as well.
Cougs.
Last time we were all 4 on BYU is when Cincinnati was in Provo. So do what you want to do with that.
Those fucking bastards better fucking win for us this time.
Can't lose 3.
Yeah, we'll take away one of your wives if you lose this game.
Lock dog tease time. I want to lock BYU. I did that. I was going to do that last week. Or I did that last week with Texas Tech. Actually, probably should not have hit. I mean, BYU was up like 18 in that game, and somehow the Red Raiders grinded that puppy out. Give me Baylor. Baylor, baby. Let's go. Baylor smash spot. Come out fresher legs against TCU. Make a bunch of shots. They put it on the TCU Horned Frogs.
You can go ahead, Rush. My lock and my dog happen to be the same team. I'm going to be doubling up.
Oh boy.
My lock's OU. OU's I think they're going to win pretty handily.
It's a good one. I was considering the Sooners as well. Dog.
Lock dog.
You go
Kansas Jayhawks. Lock dog.
Don't pick another lock. Don't put them both on your tape.
I'm 0-2 on Kansas locks. I'm going to be 33% after this week. We're locking and we're locking them as a dog too.
Oh God. I do love Kansas. This is the buy low spot. I do like that. They haven't covered recently at all. So
this is like when Bitcoin was still $8 and everyone was making fun of it because it was $300 and then it was $8 and everyone's like, ha ha ha.
I'll join you on the Kansas dog though. I keep talking about it. Seeing this shit. They always pull these fucking games out of their ass. They're gonna get it done in Ames. This could be the game where fucking Iowa State puckers up and can't make a shot to save their life. Give me the Jayhawks to get it done in Ames once again, where they've had a lot of success over the years. I know they lost last year, but if you look historically, they've had success in Ames. Give me the Jayhawks.
All the dogs I've picked, I am not confident at all. I'm just doing it in terms of spread. I might have to take West Virginia. That's the one I'm the most confident in all of them. And I'm not saying it's a high level of confidence, but
it's only Stillwater.
I mean, it's the worst. I mean, you are playing the worst team in the Big 12, but they are due for a win. I will go West Virginia, not out of bias, everyone. Of all the picks I've picked, West Virginia feels like the best. So take it how you want, grain of salt, but I will take West Virginia as the dog.
For our parlay, we didn't really agree on much.
No, we didn't. I was a thorn in everyone's side.
BYU straight up.
BYU, we all agreed. Did we all agree on Oklahoma?
I think so.
Or did Troy take Tech?
No, I took Oklahoma.
Okay, so we all agree on Oklahoma and BYU. So those two are in. Somebody's got to give one back for a parlay.
I could be convinced on Baylor.
I was gonna say, would you give back TCU for the sake of the parlay?
I would.
So 3 home teams all coming off losses. So parlay, Big 12 parlay. Take Oklahoma at home, Baylor at home, and BYU at home. Who's gonna be? It's going to be BYU again. Watch. BYU is going to give up like a backdoor fucking layup at the end of the whole parlay.
It's what they do. They try to teach you the moral lesson of not gambling. That's what it is. They're trying to teach you the lesson. Oh, everyone bet on us? Let's give up that layup.
Maybe that is the Mormon angle. It's not the Mormon money that does anything to the lines. It's the fact that the Mormon people think it would be good if we screwed these people on their bets so they would stop betting.
I think that's what it is. I'm serious.
Oh man, I'm interested to see how these lines move tonight. That's what I'm interested to see.
I guess it makes sense that BYU like backdoors and gets backdoored all the time because it's not like actual sex; it's just a random hole, so it doesn't really count.
That's how they do it.
We got a couple coaches. I'm just looking at the rest of the games across the country. We got a bunch of coaches returning. Mike White going back to the Swamp. The Ed Cooley game's tomorrow. He's going back to Providence. He's gonna get his fucking ass booed. They're gonna get fucking drilled in Providence. The Hoyas are awful. All right, guys.
They are great burgers.
Oh yeah, baby. Get over there. Get to Rush's. Before we get up on out of here, obviously tonight's the marathon show. So everybody make sure you subscribe. Probably will go around probably will go live around 10 o'clock Eastern, like we usually do on Saturday, so we can get ahead of some of these lines. We do this one at 3 o'clock Eastern happy hour, so you guys can beat some of the line movement. If you got Texas on the money line last week, it was a winner because that thing closed at 3 and they won by 2. So, but you might want to try and get ahead of these ones. The Saturday lines move more than ever. Interested to see where Kansas and Iowa State go. Something tells me I think that thing's going to stay right at 3.5. Any predictions on any of these other ones that may move? What line do you think will move? I'll ask you that, Troy.
I think the Kansas line continues to go in Kansas's favor.
You think?
I think it'll go down to 2.5. Oh yeah,
good.
I do think that. I think
yeah, but I don't see.
I think the public money will be on Iowa State, but the big sharp bets will be on Kansas.
I think the Baylor TCU line's going to go up. I think I could see that at 6.5 for Baylor. I think Kansas State. I could see Houston getting 15.5. I think OU is going to go to at least 4.
It already did.
All right. Well, then it might even go to 4.5.
Yeah. Grab Oklahoma now if you like it. I'm with you there, Rush. What do we think BYU opens? I think 8.5.
No, not that many. Unless
maybe 7.5.
I'm even thinking 6.5. But like I said, I know they try to do different things with spreads. It's not always the exact like 50-50 shot. 8.5's a lot.
KenPom is 8.
I know.
Yeah. I think maybe Cincy comes down too.
I'll ride it because I took it with BYU, even if it opens at 8.5. But I'll just a little bit of caution. I would if BYU's 8.5.
Makes me like them more.
Yeah, it probably is. We do agree. It's more likely a smash mouth than not. Yeah. But just here's what it is. From just my BYU fandom years and coming up being a BYU fan, if that opened at 8.5, I would stay away from that game. But
your paranoia of BYU.
I've only seen it 2 million times, man. So that's all. That's all. But like I said, it's more likely a BYU smash spot. I think we all agree there. I do think they end up beating Texas big. But when you start mixing the fandom in a little bit, you can overthink things. We all know where that goes. So
shout out to Nathan's dirty dog of the day. I got Sienna. You know me. Oh, when the Saints go marching. I love Sienna tonight. But Troy, tell everybody where to find you, what you got going on for the weekend other than watching these games. Well, Mason's a fucking wild man in the chat right now.
We just went from having freezing fucking cold 22-degree temps with snow on the ground to it was 70 degrees today, and I got to play some simulated golf. But
boom.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure as soon as this show's over, I'm going right back to the driving range. As long as if it's going to be this temp, I'm going to spend as much time as I can outside. But find me over on the X. I was making some homemade pizzas, made some pizza dough this week.
Dude, that looked delicious, man.
They were pretty good.
You made it the best way, nice, thin and crispy.
Oh yeah, well you got to try to get. Deep dish pizza is cool, but you got to have like 5 or 6 people there to eat it.
Yeah, see, I completely.
You can only get 1 slice. I would much rather have like 6 slices of real thin crust pizza.
Thin crust, light sauce.
Yeah, the spiral ham, pineapple, and jalapeno was the best pizza that I've had in a while.
Damn, I'm gonna be back in the area soon, Troy. Let's.
I did get a brisket at the Giant the other day for like $29. It was like a $75 brisket for $29.
Dude, Troy, you're a hell of a cook. Yeah, I've seen Troy's works of arts in the green and the kitchen as well, and they both obviously complement each other quite nicely. Everyone, you can find me at Rambling Rush, Twitter, Instagram, obviously the Ryan and Rush shows, the West Virginia side of things. Appreciate all the support. Going to be a great weekend for Big 12 basketball. Well, hopefully, at least for the Mountaineers. So
yeah, let's go Mormons.
Let's go Mormons.
Dude, and I just checked one more time. BYU's still not out. So I was trying to delay the show as much as possible just to see if we could get another 10 minutes to see if BYU would release right at 4 Eastern, but still nothing on BYU in Texas. So stay tuned. We all like BYU, but obviously want to see the number. But yeah, another good show in the books. Come
Chad's on the ears, fade the ears.
No. You are fucking on Oklahoma State, Chad. You're not allowed. You're banned from betting West Virginia. You guys can find me.
He's doing it to spite us. He's paying for a West Virginia loss.
No, you're not allowed to fucking do that. You're on Kansas last week. You get to go back with Oklahoma State tomorrow. At Moneyline_Mac. Be back here later on college basketball. And then we're back Big 12 at midnight here tomorrow night. So come join us. And then also go check out the college experience, college football experience, sports gambling podcast. Subscribe to all the channels, but make sure college experience first. So we'll see you guys tomorrow night, later tonight in the chat. Look forward to seeing all of you. It'll be a riot like it always is on that Saturday show. Hopefully I don't have too much whiskey. Those fucking 3-hour shows can get away by the fucking last half hour. So yeah, let's go Ears. And we are out of here.
Hopefully I don't have too much whiskey. Like, you can help it, right?
Can't control myself.